Well, good morning, West Ham fans. Happy Julien Lopetegui press conference day. But has his successor shortlist been revealed? A very good Thursday to you all. And Thursday can only mean one thing: the return of the for sure counter. But maybe we might not see it for much longer if we're led to be believed. A poor performance against Everton could result in maybe Julien Lopetegui, being replaced as the West Ham head coach. And it does seem that apparently we have got contingency plans lined up, according to Jacob Steinberg. We know Jacob Steinberg does tend to have a good handle on what's happening with the board. Say no more about that. But it does seem there's obviously we've heard names such as the likes of Graham Potter and Gareth Southgate and stuff like that. But according to Mr. Steinberg, three names we are currently running, or we have been running background checks, which sounds a bit like they've just got a new job and you're just doing a CRB check. But we're going to go through them. There's three names. A couple we've mentioned about in passing before when we were talking about who could potentially take over from David Moyes at the time. But let's crack on with the first one, shall we? And the first one is the current Stuttgart head coach, Sebastian Hoeness, 42-year-old. Obviously, currently at Stuttgart, his contract runs out in 2027. So it would mean buying him out of a contract if, obviously, we got him before 2027. One of the good things is he does prefer to play a 4-2-3-1 formation. He's currently at the moment 185 games he's managed as a head coach. He was previously at Hertha Berlin as a player. No, a youth team player rather, then went into play for Hertha Berlin's second side. Now I wonder whether that coincided with Tim's time at Hertha Berlin, because I'm seeing, when I've been going through these and looking at the players that have been apparently running background checks on, there are a lot of sort of, what's the word? Not similarities, but a lot of coincidences. Now, Tim was playing at Hertha Bremen from 98 to 2000, and Sebastian, no, he'd left by then, but he was a youth team player when Tim was there. But when Tim was technical director at Hertha Berlin, do they have his technical? It could have been. Anyway, Sebastian apparently he's a guy that we were sort of tentatively looking at. It seemed beforehand. Am I a bit jaundiced today? Do I look a bit jaundiced? Let me put on the other. No, fine. This one's a bit yellow, this monitor. Look like my kidney failure. So in terms of the sides he's managed Bayern Munich's second team, Hoffenheim, and currently Stuttgart manager. He has a 48% win bonus. He led in his first season for the Bayern Munich second team. He led them to their first three Liga title, and was manager of the year that year. He's got currently Stuttgart. He led Stuttgart to the Champions League for the first time in 09-010, finishing second, the club's best ever performance for for over a decade, almost 2 decades. Young age, progressive manager. Ticks too many boxes to me, doesn't it? German as well. Was born in Munich as well, so and younger than me. There was talk, I think it was Fabrizio Romano or something, saying he is definitely going to be in the Premier League in the foreseeable future. Stuttgart are apparently bracing themselves for a Premier League club to take him on, so to speak, in terms of their new head coach. So who knows? who knows? But according to Jacob Steinberg, he's one of the players we are, one of the managers, rather head coaches, we're running background checks on. And now, now for something completely different, kind of, an out of work manager. So straight away, that ticks a box for Mr. Sullivan. It's Kasper Hjulmand. I'm sure that's not how you pronounce his name, but I'm going with it. You say it with enough conviction, people will believe that's how you are meant to say it. But he's currently without a club. Previously, he was the Danish national coach until until actually this year. He resigned following the fact that they finished second. They got knocked out in the group stage, knocked out by Germany, and then he announced his resignment from the Danish national side. So he's without a club. Plays a 4-3-3. And again, you can see, we were linked with like Thomas Frank and stuff like that as well, potentially. Now, obviously, Lopetegui still got a job. But in terms of the types of play managers, so that sort of Danish progressive style of football, but he'd obviously be cheaper, like the budgie. 363 games he's managed. He's in terms of the clubs, a whole raft of clubs. Lyngby. He also managed Nordsjælland, and I believe he was manager during Kudus's time at Nordsjælland. So it could be you can see why maybe, or there's a partnership already. Same with Sebastian and Stuttgart and Mavropanos. Again, he would have managed him under his time there. 42%. I couldn't get the goal difference type thing, but 42% win percentage. Didn't have a when he was at Mainz, he only was there for 24 games, 20%. So win sort of ratio. So it wasn't really a great time there. Nordsjælland, he was there 2 spells actually, 235 games he was at Nordsjælland with, and it's Denmark. He had almost a 60% win ratio. So I don't know. I'd prefer Sebastian, to be honest. Or there's this guy, the last of the trio. So the last of the 3 amigos, again, another manager who's out of work, is Roger Schmidt, 57-year-old German head coach, previously at Benfica. Likes to play a 4-2-3-1, very experienced, over 800 games managed. A playing career which was pretty much around the lower leagues of Germany, but went into management, and he's had relative success in everywhere he's been, in all honesty, but he's been to a lot of places, as you can see, a lot of clubs. I couldn't even fit all the logos in, so I had to go with text. RB Salzburg, he led them to the double, with an 18-point league advantage over Rapid Vienna at the time, and won the league with 8 games to spare. By Leverkusen, Tim was not around at Leverkusen at the time that Schmidt was there, but he would have been in and around the Bundesliga, of course. What did he do there? Finished his first season 4th. He wasn't a great time there. He got them into the Champions League in the 25-16 season, but then was sacked by Rudi Völler, the sporting director, following a 6-2 loss, which left Leverkusen 9th in the league. He then went to the Chinese Super League with Beijing, won the FA or the Chinese FA Cup, and then was sacked, with apparently hundreds of fans coming to the airport to wish him farewell when he left. I'm sure they did. I'm sure they used all their hands. I saw that they were waving, but the other way around. Then he went to PSV. He came second in the first season, but he did beat Ajax in the Johan Cruyff Shield. Won the cup final against Ajax as well. Then left at the end of his contract to go to Benfica, where he was very successful. Where was all the accolades I've got on here? Benfica, he won the Premier Liga. He won the Supertaça Canadero de Olivo, won the Manager of the Season in the 22-23 season, and won sort of several other sort of monthly things. 59% win ratio. For me, the most experienced, and apart from maybe the thing around the Premier League experience, which he doesn't have, there's a lot of things that I could see him working with. His DNA is 4-2-3-1, which I think our side is, as we said before. Damien made a point on Sunday about that. He's of an age where he's not necessarily slightly. I'd say he's probably is he slightly riskless, more risk adverse option than Sebastian Hoeness. I think Sebastian Hoeness is for me the front runner. I think he would be, but then we have to pay Stuttgart out of a contract. He's still got 2 years left, and he's still 3 years left in his deal, really. So that would itself probably maybe kibosh that one. I mean, he's won it. I mean, Rodgers won everything. Every side he's gone to, with the probably not say Leverkusen. He's won something. From Salzburg onwards, obviously he was around the sort of the lower leagues in Germany beforehand with Del Brugge and Preber Münster and Paderborn 07. But it's a bit more, for me, they're a little bit more exciting than being linked with Gareth Southgate and people like that. And they sort of, for me, sort of fall more into the MO of Tim Steidten, what he's trying to achieve, rather than necessarily buying a Premier League ready, a Marco Silva or something like that. We'll talk about that tomorrow, maybe. I'm going to do a thought piece tomorrow. Because, yes, this news dropped today, but there's been, I spent some time with Adam at Dad's our podcast, and we were chatting about the future, and we sort of put 2 and 2 together. So we're doing a thought piece, which I'll put out tomorrow. But I thought this was interesting to see. So the 3, just in case you've just tuned in late, Sebastian Hoeness, who I think, to be honest, I think he is a young manager. He's experienced in the German league. He's got a decent win ratio as well. And I believe he turned down advances from Man United to stay at Stuttgart at the time, when they were looking for someone before Ten Hag, or they were looking, they had tentative discussions with him. Kasper, I think, is just a bizarre one, really. I think there's other managers you could probably get, but 4-3-3, maybe more exciting. But I suppose there's not much. I suppose maybe. And then probably the more experienced choice would be Roger Schmidt. Gives me a slight Paulo Fonseca vibes maybe as well. But he's German. He's worked under a sporting director, because he obviously got sacked by Rudi Völler by Leverkusen. So I'm sure Tim would have known of him, and they probably know each other. But yeah, I think Hoeness out of those 3 is someone I would like. But to be honest, as I said, they're probably more exciting than the names we've been linked with at the moment. But as I said, Jacob Steinberg saying that we have been running background checks on these 3 gentlemen. But I'll be back with a Hjulmand Lopetegui press conference. He's still there. So this is all speculative. He's still there. We'll have the for sure counter, as always, which will become a feature on the West Ham network. And we'll bring that to you just after lunchtime, just after that goes live. And take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble. Keep the faith, my bloody friends, and I'll see you soon. Much love. Bye-bye.